Hello, my name is Carlos Torres alongside with Fred Altvater. We're here in the Back Nine Report, and today we're going to bring you the news on the course. Three pieces of news that we're going to be discussing, and that is presented by Boyne Resorts, Fred.
Hey, Carlos, I got to tell you, it snowed 3 inches last night up here in Cadillac, Michigan. So I had to shovel snow, move some snow around, but it is beginning to warm up. Believe it or not, the rest of the time here they're calling for warmer weather. It's supposed to start raining, melt all the snow away. So that means that the 10 golf courses at Boyne will be ready for buddies trips, girls golf getaways, and family vacations very soon. If you want to assure yourself a great golf trip, go to their website right now, boynegolf.com, B-O-Y-N-E golf.com. Check out the outstanding packages they're offering for 2021. Believe it or not, they're filling up the prime summer months. So now's the time to book your golf trip to one of the best resorts in the country at boynegolf.com. Tell them Back Nine Report sent you.
Definitely, that's a place to go, Fred. You gotta hook me up. I gotta go
You
up
got to
there
come
now in
up.
the
You come
summer.
up. We
Go
got her
play a
covered,
little
man.
bit. All right. So let's start talking about the pieces of news. And the first one, we're going to talk about Rory McIlroy. It's incredible. If you come to think about it, Fred, he's probably the most overanalyzed player on the planet. Everybody has an opinion in him. Coming into Sawgrass, he had just come back from back-to-back top tens to go with the third in Abu Dhabi. But now he's outside the world's top 10 all of a sudden and seems a long way off a fifth major after comfortably missing the cut of the players. So I was reading about this. What's wrong with Rory? They made a poll, and a lot of people said, most of the people said, hey, that's nothing. It's just a matter of time for him to. He's not that far away. There's no doubt he'll be back. There was 9% that said, hey, it's his coach. The change in coach, but not a permanent change. That should be, from what happened. 30% said his caddy. I mean, when he's playing brilliantly, he's a joy to watch, right? And I believe anyone could carry his bag. But when he has a wobble, he needs someone to snap it and snap him out of it with good advice or 10 words. So, you know, uh, that's why people that. But then the 40% said something else. But we learned, Fred, that apparently is none of that. It's maybe something in the something else, because after he missed the cut, he lamented issues with his swing that trace to his chasing the speed that he started back in October, and that is trying to follow about Bryson DeChambeau's length. So it seems like it was a mistake, and this is maybe a bigger topic that we should talk about later on about, and we have mentioned it, other players when we saw Bryson DeChambeau start to do this journey that he's on, who was going to try to follow and try to become like him, right? Because he's trending and he's something new. He's the novelty right now. So we saw this first major superstar in Rory McIlroy try to follow him, and now he says it wasn't. He's frustrated about it.
Carlos, a couple things with Rory. Rory has always been erratic. He's never been that consistent up until 2 years ago. If you remember, we talked for a long time, and I said, listen, Rory's got to start playing a cut. He's got to hit a straighter ball off the tee. He kept getting himself in trouble off the tee just enough that he would turn, scores that should be 67 into a 69 or a 70. And that would keep him from winning. He finished top 10 right along, no problem. Well, he played with Tiger when Tiger won the FedEx Cup a few years ago, right? They were in the last group. And Tiger was hitting these little fades into the greens and sitting them right by the pins where he wanted them. And Rory was still trying to play that little bit of a draw, and his balls were hitting hard and bouncing to the back of the green or off the edge of the green, leaving him difficult putts. And that was the difference. And he made up his mind he had to learn how to cut the ball a little bit or fade it or at least hit it straighter. And that's exactly what he did. And he went on that tear where he was winning and he was finishing top 5 every week for like 18 months. He was playing fantastic. Well, Bryson DeChambeau comes along and starts knocking it off the end of the world. And like every good golfer who they tinker, we got to tinker. We always got to think we can do it better. He wants to swing harder, hit it harder, and it messes him all up. Now, instead of playing that controlled fade and knowing where the ball is going, he's just swinging hard and letting it fly and thinks and say, okay, I'll just get it, from wherever it lands, I'll go find and hit it again. Well, it's not working. It's messed him up. So it's going to take him a little bit of time to get back where he was. But you and I both know, Carlos, when Rory McIlroy is right, there's nobody. And Dustin Johnson, I don't care. He's very, very good. But when McIlroy is right, there's nobody any better than him. You can say Rory, you can say JT, you can say Dustin Johnson. That right now, that would be about my list of if these three guys were playing at the top of their game, there's nobody that's going to beat them. Not going to happen. And Rory will get back to that again, but he just got cut up on this new shiny toy of hitting it hard like Bryson DeChambeau, and it's got him all messed up.
It's getting him all messed up, and I think it has put him a little farther from winning the Masters. So maybe he'll shut us up and say, "Hey, you know, I
It
got it,
wouldn't
I
take him
got it, I
long.
got
It
it."
wouldn't take him long to get back there because he knows what to do. About a week of solid practice, and he could be back where he was.
Well, also, but here's the thing. I don't want to extend the topic and down him, but here's the thing. It's he started to tweak his swing to get more speed, and he has been tinkering anyway with strength before. So this is not something new to him. We all knew that he had a very good regimen of exercising for strength, and he was one of the longest hitters anyway already in golf. Why would he have to try to go above that? That's what already puzzled me. Rory, you're one of the strongest and
Why
most
does Tiger
athletic.
Woods change three coaches when he's winning majors like crazy? Why does Lydia Ko, when she has the best game in the world of anybody, completely change it? Why? That's what they do. That's what golfers do.
Jordan Spieth, that's what happened to him too. He started
Exactly.
to try to look for more
Yep.
length, and look at what he is. He's still trying to get back to what he was. But anyway, Rory, we know he'll be back. That's for sure. I agree with you. When is it's just a matter of when and not of if. But he was saying, that his friend and fellow professional golfer Tiger Woods, he is feeling better. He said, hey, he at the time that he talked about it, he said that he was hopeful to be transferred to his home in Florida. We learned today that he did was transferred to he's already back home. He tweeted today that he's happy to be back home and all that, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But there was some information, and we talked about this as well when we were reporting about the Tiger Woods crash. Now there's some scrutiny into it because apparently the LA County Sheriff's Department officials made some critical decisions that were favorable to Tiger and gave him the benefit of the doubt. And now forensics experts are saying that shouldn't have been the way that it should have been. So, Fred, what you think about this? I mean, something didn't add up when they were all of a sudden starting to talk about it one way. Then we talked about, hey, this doesn't sound right when now they're trying to retract what they're saying. Will we ever know the truth of what's happened there?
Yeah, I think it's going to too. I think the sheriff's department tried to give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit. We know it was early in the morning, so we really don't think, drugs or any of these kind of things were involved. But he was going at excessive speed. He obviously was distracted, whether he momentarily fell asleep, whether he was playing with his phone, whatever. He was going too fast, went across the median. He just nearly hit a pole. He, could have hit traffic coming the other way. Didn't do any of that. Went over a deep cliff, rolled over several times, and so they're going to end up charging him with something probably. But I think it's just going to be more than like a fine or a slap on the wrist kind of thing. They're going to have to do something kind of save face. But they might have gone overboard and tried to help him, but make it look a little better than it was. But the media, they're going to dig and pry to find anything wrong they can find. So I don't think there's anything there that's really that bad, but they're trying.
Yeah, whenever it involves, and it reminds me of what happened to Kobe Bryant last year when the famous crash from the helicopter. All of a sudden, there starts to be all swirling all kinds of theories, right? And that's what we're seeing here. And unfortunately, with the LA County Sheriff's Department taking that approach and then trying to retract and say some other things afterwards, it just fuels more and more of that. To me, the way that they should just come up, hey, look, I'm sorry, this is the way that it should have been, and we're going to do it right now. And this is how it's going to be done. They have the black box. They're going to get all the information they need out of it. And like you, I agree. There shouldn't be anything. Hey, we're just happy and lucky that we still have Tiger Woods to talk about him as a future. What's going to happen? I mean, we know that he was inserted with a rod to stabilize the area. The doctor sliced the muscle to relieve the pressure in the swelling area. That's a safeguard against the infection, right? But the good news is that, hey, he's back home. He's back home. He tweeted today that he's happy to be there and looking forward to, hey, he was happy for the outpouring support and looking forward to recuperate. He was thankful to the staff of doctors, but we're still a long ways away from learning what's going to be Tiger Woods, if he will ever play again or if he at least will walk normally again. We still don't know those things, Fred.
No, I know it's going to be tough. I don't expect anything, Carlos. If he comes back to play a little bit, that'd be unbelievable. I really don't expect much from here on out from Tiger.
No, definitely. But hey, we wish him the best, and hopefully he'll be back in some capacity to golf. He's still the one that moves the needle, and he might. The great thing that we have seen from him is like, hey, the advice that he gave Bryson DeChambeau, that he was thankful, Bryson, to him. JT was saying, hey, thanks to him. I just wish he was be here so I could, rub it in his face. But still, hey, thank you for. He was emotional about that. You see this new Tiger influencing the younger generation like he was doing ever since he became Tiger the Needle. So hopefully we can see him there. Uh, Again, so our best wishes for a speedy recovery, and we can talk about more as it comes out. But Fred, to close it up here on the course, let's talk about the Olympics. And again, a world number one is turning his back on the Olympics in golf, and that is Dustin Johnson. And he cited that he wanted to be more focused and make sure that he was focused on the PGA Tour and winning on it than the travel schedule that it would be for him. Now that brings us back again to something that we talked about 4 years ago, in which we are split on it. To me, it's all about golf always, since it was never a part of the Olympics or never even thought about it. It was more about being the individual athlete. Uh, you don't identify by playing for your country. Only when you go for the Ryder Cup, which is nothing like you're playing for the U.S. You're playing against anyway, against your buddies anyway, with your buddies against other buddies that you have. So it's not such a thing. So hey, we see it here in Dustin Johnson just preferring, hey, I this is where I make my money. This is where the things that I know are gonna make me famous, rather than going for the Olympic gold.
Yeah, but I understand. I'm going to take it from the other side. Um, the writer the Olympics obviously does not mean anything to Dustin. He is a professional golfer, and Carlos, as a casual golfer, we are excited about any opportunity we have to play, especially in any kind of event or a big course or a new course. I mean, it's exciting for us. To these guys, it's their job. Just like you go into your office every day, or sitting down to write an article or put the magazine together or whatever. It's my job. It's what I do. Oh, it's no big deal. For him, playing another round of golf, going to Japan to play for a couple days and having a big hoopla, that's not Dustin Johnson. It's just not him. So, why would he go do it if it's not going to be a big deal? And like he said, the British is, right before it. Then you got a WGC right after it. You still got the FedEx Cup coming. And then you've got the Ryder Cup. So there's a lot of stuff happening in that 2-month time period. And to jump on a plane, fly to Japan, do all the stuff you got to do for the Olympics, and then fly back and do this other stuff, it's a lot. And you can say, oh well, they make millions of dollars. They should be willing to do this. And you know what? I understand Dustin's point completely. And nobody's forcing him. If he doesn't want to go, don't go. That's all right. Let somebody else go. We got plenty of good guys. Right now, you've got JT, you're top on the list. You got Colin Morikawa. You got Bryson DeChambeau. There would be 3 good representatives right there. Okay. And then below them, you still got Xander, you got Patrick Reed, Cantley, Webb, Brooks and Finau are not that far behind either. So we've got some good guys. We don't need Dustin Johnson to go over there. So, I know the media wants to make a big deal out of this thing, but I don't, I don't judge him, or I don't look at him differently because of not wanting to go play in the Olympics.
I do, and again, it goes back to my four. My stance has always been the same. The Olympics is the biggest sporting event in the world, that bar none. Whoever says the contrary is just it's just dreaming, and that is the biggest exposure that you have to the world. If you really want to have something to do that it's not your name, it's you're representing something else. That's when you go to the Olympics. And unfortunately, and this is the thing, and we talked about this 4 years ago, and it was because outside of the states anyway, the Olympics are the huge thing. I mean, they stop work and everything just to watch their teams and their representatives go to battle for their nation. Okay, and there's the players that went there 4 years ago. It was like, yeah, they loved it, they wanted to go, and after that, they were all saying like how big it was, how great the experience was, and they would like to do it again. Of course, not everybody will get to do it again, but if you don't want to go, good. Don't go, because I prefer somebody that really wants to go and is going to give it his best. And it's not about me, it's about who am I representing in the back of my shirt. It's not Justin Thomas, it's not Dustin Johnson, it's the United States of America. That's what who you should be thinking about when you go to the Olympics. And I'm sure JT is going to looking forward to it. Colin Morikawa is going to look forward to it. The third one right now is Chance Sander Shoffley. I'm sure he's going to go there. Patrick Cantley, not even think about it. Patrick Reed, if he gets in, he'll be the first one there. He'll be like 2 weeks before,
Captain
making sure that
America.
everything is going to be good there. So after that, next in line is Webb, Bryson, Brooks, and Tawny. I'm sure that any of those would make a great team. So uh, hey, Dustin, that's your thinking. Good, and I understand that. I'll accept it because that's unfortunately the way that golfers all around were raised on. It was an individual sport, never thinking about going to the Olympics. So I just hope that as long as I mean, as the time goes by, this time kind of thinking changes.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. What would really have been cool if Tiger could have been at some level that he could have qualified. That would have just been massive. But that's never going to happen now. But oh well, that would have been great.
That would have been great. And with that, Fred, we wrap up our on the course news. So stay tuned next time. Look forward to it. They're the on course news presented by Boeing.